when the big building is founded on a strong pillar foundation, that building is always strong. It doesn't fall easily. So that is Narahari Prabhu. I am very fortunate to have him in my life as a friend. And everyone, devotees like Kirtan Prabhu. One lady who was in hospice, who is in hospice now, the Catherine. You know Catherine?
Yeah, Catherine, my good friend.
Yeah, I went to her today and she was talking about Kirtaneswar, that I forgot the words he used to appreciate glorify his maturity in Krishna consciousness.
Catherine says that I'll contact you via the mind sometime.
Yeah. See word, he is very vigorous. That's what she says. Very vigorous.
Vigor is the quality of the Kshatriya.
Yeah, and so and then I was thinking, oh, this crowd is very little today, and at least Janeswar and his wife Taralakshi should be here. I was just thinking, and next few seconds they just open the door. Yeah. So
she was cooking here tonight, so they both had to come here. So she wasn't cooking there.
Today is really very, very auspicious day in so many ways. Baraha Dwadasi. Yesterday was Ekadasi.
Sorry, I wanted to make one announcement I forgot to make.
Okay.
Last year on the lunar calendar, last year at this time, we said goodbye to our dear friend Mary Sachi.
She left this day.
She left between Braha Dwadasi and Yajna Trayodasi.
Wow.
So we want to appreciate Mary Sachi for being such a nice person in the Krishna Cove.
Yeah.
And she loved when I played Kirtan with guitar, so I wasn't going to do that, but she Krishna's arrangement that I ended up doing with the guitar.
That was not coincident that you did it. It was maybe she wanted to hear guitar. We all know that devotee, the soul will never die. Soul will always remain in, especially trained Krishna conscious soul is always watching from higher space, and they have attachment to their devotee friends when they were living on this planet. Like some devotee pass away and they go back home, back to God, they miss the association they have here on this planet. So by their remembrance, we can be sometime delivered from this world, and our returning home back to God may be possible. So we must have someone in our life, that devotee, Brajavasis, a devotee from Vrindavan, who could remember us. In our case, Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters, our whole parampara, and all the other devotees, they are our hope to return back home, back to God. And we all know that the Lord has so many incarnations. He descends himself on this earth, on this planet, and many planets for so many reasons. Krishna has spoken in Bhagavad Gita that mainly the Lord descends to establish the principle of dharma, religiosity, and to suppress the demoniac forces that exploit the nature and the people in general, and to help and save the sadhus, devotees who are following the principle of dharma. And while doing so, the Lord enjoys his romantic life as well. He performed so many leelas, pastimes, and this way he fulfilled so many purposes by his one visit. And Barahadev is one of the 10th incarnations that are primarily mentioned in the scriptures. Lord Baraha means you can say boar, wild pig with a tusk. Have you seen the wild pig in nature? In reality, not javelina, other than different from javelina. Javelina doesn't have tusk, right?
There's a javelina Dave too.
They do have.
So there's a javelina Dave also. I've seen wild boar in India.
Sometimes they fight with tiger. They are very strong.
I've seen wild boar in India.
Yeah. And me as born in Nepal in the forest in jungle, our life was very closely attached to related to the jungle, going to jungle every day, collecting grass, wood for the cattle, and wood for fuel for cooking. We used to encounter all kind of animals in the forest, and that was very natural, practical, realistic life. Living with nature is very nice. And I will briefly talk about Barahadev appearance, and we'll talk about how do we keep our faith. What is our faith founded on? What are the founding principle of our faith that keeps us in spiritual life? Because we have seen so many people come to Krishna consciousness or any spiritual life. Don't think that Krishna spiritual life means only within ISKCON. There are so many other group outside of us. They try to practice spirituality in their life. They follow certain principle that is somehow or other connected to God. And sometimes their faith is shaken, and people leave the movement even after practicing a long time, because somehow their belief becomes so weak, and they at some point they do not believe what they follow. So let Barahadev, in the beginning of the creation, when Lord Brahma, like in Lord Brahmaji's one day, there are so many Manus they rule. 14 Manus comes in one day of Lord Brahmaji. And Manus are the leaders, the Prajapatis, the great carrier of Dharma, who teaches the religious principle to the common population. So without following religious principle, human society become simply animalistic society. The religion bind a society. We can see that in today's context as well. In every culture, they have so many different types of festivals they celebrate that keeps people together. Just like a garland, we have so many garland in one little thread that keeps all the garlands together and make a beautiful garland. Like a pearl in a string. If there is no string inside the pearl, then they cannot hold together. So this dharma keeps society active, alive, and going on. So when Lord Brahmaji ordered one of the Manu to go and establish or teach the principle of dharma on this earthly planet, when Swayambhuva Manu came, he did not see the earth planet. What do I do now? There is no earth. It fell from its axis?
Yeah. It's orbit.
Orbit, yeah. No earth there. And Lord Brahmaji was in great anxiety. Oh my God, what should I do now? This is a big problem. Because he was a creator and he's a big manager. Then when he was thinking and meditating to ask help from the Lord, what should I do? How do I order my son to go and preach the Dharma. Then the Lord just appear from his nostrils, like white, some kind of white light appear. Tiny thing appears. And there are two boards explained in two different avatars. One is white is Sweta Varaha, and other is Rakta Varaha, the red Varaha. Then now Lord himself appeared as a Varaha from the nostril of Lord Brahmaji, and he went down wherever the earthly planet was fallen, and he rescued and brought it back and put to its orbit. So when he was bringing back the orbit, the axis was a little bit tilted. If you see the sun, Earth, it is not straight. It is a little bit tilted because it was replaced by Lord Barahadev. And that was one case that Lord Baraha rescued Earth. In another case, there was another big demon whose name was Hiranyaksha. And he is a very famous brother of who? Hiranyakasipu. It shows that Hiranyaksha was senior to Hiranyakasipu because he took birth before him, but in reality, Hiranyakasipu was the elder brother. It's a very mysterious thing, Within the womb, Hiranyakasipu was elder, but Hiranyaksha came before him. All this is possible in those days.
That's how they say, because the twin that comes out second is always considered older.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. And they were big demon, and the demon always want to challenge God. The demon always want to kill or fight or have enmity against God. Like one time when Lord Brahmaji was meditating and studying Vedas, he was reading Vedas in his meditation. And there were a demon called Madhukaitava demon. They stole the Vedas from Brahmaji. They heard everything from Brahma, Vedas. And Vedas are very secret code that it is not revealed to everyone who are not qualified. The knowledge of the Vedas are always kept secret, so that right and trained, a qualified devotee can utilize it for the purpose of betterment, purpose of establishing principle of dharma. But when the demon get that knowledge, then they will misuse it and they use it for destruction. So they challenge the Lord by stealing the knowledge. Like if you have all the secret knowledge, just for nowadays, what happened? The military of the biggest country, they secretly sell the science, nuclear science or weapon science to other country in big money. Currently, right now, one Chinese highest ranked military personnel was arrested for selling that secret to USA. Or sometimes Chinese people steal from USA, and this always happen. In class also, we students sometimes cheat, right, from other students. In my time when I was in school, when some of my friend was cheating, they write my name as well in copy. They even did not write their name. In the copy there's a name, your symbol number, your everything. He copied somebody else's name and he submitted to them. So Hiranyaksha was doing the extensive mining from this world. Mining, extracting the minerals, gems, oil, everything. And the petroleum is considered to be the blood of this planet, right? When you extract all the blood from your body, you feel weak and you might sometimes lose consciousness, and so many things can happen. So at this time, when Mother Earth was taken down by this Hiranyaksha, because he was not able to steal the Vedas like Madhukaitava. And that time, Lord immediately killed them. That's why his name, one of his name was Madhusudana. Madhusudana. Each and every single name of God comes from some heroic action that the Lord performs. So God has thousands of names, and each name has thousands of meaning. Can you imagine how great personality God is? Like in society, like Kirtan, for example, he gives so many talks. He visited so many centers. He gives classes, like many classes in a week, and everybody know him that yeah, he is big, busy, so many classes, he studies, and like they, we can name him in that way, in little scale. But the Lord has many names, and many names has many meanings according to his many functions that he performs.
Your name too, Prabhu, Kirtan Yajna. You do Kirtan and you do Yajna.
And no, and this, don't talk about me. I just, because you are a live example of what I talk. I'm not what you are. So, and Hiranyaksha somehow, in order to he thought, let me hide, steal this earth and hide down in the Rasatala, so that in order to rescue, Lord Vishnu will come, and when he come, and I will fight and kill him. Then when I kill him, then I become the supreme power. I become the United States of America in the modern context. So that was the idea of demons. They always have envious feeling for God. Do we have envy in our heart sometimes? Most of the time, right? We do have some kind of envy all the time. We envy. This is the situation that we live in this world. We are envious of at least somebody in our life. Maybe we can be envious of our friend. We can be envious of our neighbor. We can be envious of our peers. We can be envious of our whatnot. Many ways we can be envious. This mentality to be envy is a big disease we have to face. The demoniac quality. And same thing happened from Lord Brahmaji. Something came out from his nostril, and slowly that little being, tiny being, came to the space and started taking a gigantic form. And seeing that all the demigods they were in great pleasure that the Lord appeared from Lord Brahmaji. Now he will rescue this earth, and then so in South India, if you go in South India, all the Brahmanas, they, before performing any sacrifice, any yajna, they always invite Lord Barahadev, because without Lord Baraha rescuing this earth, we would not be able to sit and perform any sacrifices. So this is how this earth was rescued from the demoniac hand. And when Lord Baraha was running, and from his body some hair fell, the Baraha has hair. From that hair, special plant appeared. What is that plant? Kusagrasa. We use the kusagrasa in any ritual, any sacrifice we perform. Like in South India, or any part of India, when a person sit on puja, they wear the ring of kusagrass, so that whatever they do is purified and is perfect. And sesame seed also appeared from Lord Barahadev's sweats that are for some other organs, the sesame seed. So these things are very sacred that we use in performing sacrifices in our life. So, but all these things are like stories. People may not believe. They may be thinking, oh, how do we believe that all these things happens in the history? How is it possible for a boar to rescue the whole gigantic earth? We cannot even imagine how heavy, how it is. It is very difficult to believe. We did not see that incident that in our eyes. And do you believe that happened really? Do you really believe that happened? Okay. Many people do not believe. So even in Krishna consciousness, we have that challenge, that upside down in our mind. Oh, I took my initiation. Now I am bound to follow some rules and regulations. What if it is not true at all in the end? At the end of the day, they're big, like atheistic people. They do not. They argue with this. Why do I waste my time for something that I do not see? I do not experience. I do not. Now we say we are. I'm not this body. I am soul. I'm the super soul, God, nature. I have not seen my soul. I have not seen that somebody dies, he has returned back home, back to Godhead, or he has been to heavenly planet, or he has gone down to the hellish planet and suffered the great deal of his karma. Maybe these things are not true. This kind of doubts always come in everyone's mind. So amidst such doubt and confusions, how do we keep our faith strongly founded so that we do not have such doubt hunting us? So this is what I wanted to discuss today. And these all discussions are based on teaching of Prabhupada and all the scriptures and all the acharyas. So there was one saint in Madhvacharya. When they take sannyas, they are only 8 years old. Even today, they practice this tradition. They take sannyas at the age of 8. And they are trained in the Vedas. And they are very, very strict brahmachari, following this regulative life, very strict. And they study, and their faith was so strong from the childhood. And they become very staunch devotee, and they will practice. But one sannyasi at the age of 50, he got married, and he said, he accepted that somehow I didn't believe that Krishna exists. What should I do? So I got married. These things happens everywhere in many cultures, many traditions. People who are dedicated disciples, leaders, somehow they fall from their position, and that damages the whole big congregation. People lose faith by that. So in order to strengthen our faith in Krishna consciousness, so we have first thing we have, what do we get knowledge from? Where do we get our knowledge from? Yeah, the first thing is Shastra. Gurus, they also get knowledge from Shastra. And Shastra, when we study Shastra, we may be thinking there may be some transcendental topics, very, very exotic topic, or maybe some mysterious things in scripture. But actually, scriptures are not talking something super physical, topics. They simply talking in all the scripture. They are simply talking what is going on this planet on daily basis that we experience in our life daily. They are not saying something extraordinary thing in the scriptures. It simply explain what is this world, what is the nature, what is this, creation. Just like it says in Shastra, it says that dukhalayam asaswatam. It says this world is place of misery. This is nothing new and nothing specific, nothing big philosophy. And this all is temporary. That we daily experience these things in our life. How do we experience that this world is temporary? What is one example you can see?
Yeah.
Huh? How do you believe that this world is temporary? How? One example in your life, whatever you experience. Old age. Yeah. We want to remain always youthful and enjoy life forever, but somehow we slowly become old and this body change. This morning I had experienced one death. 86 years old man. He would be 87 in February 1st. You maybe remember him, Brother David. He used to come here a lot.
I saw the picture that you.
Yeah. And last night I was there with him and I chanted Hare Krishna. There was Prabhupada audio chanting as well. And he was, his mouth was open and both eyes were open. And Ekadasi, in the morning, 3 o'clock, beautiful. And so Surya Uttarayana, that Bhismadev was leaving his body in the same time. And there's, yes, what we daily experience in our life, those things are given in the scriptures. Bhagavad Gita says that Dehino Smyatha Dehi Kaumaram Yoganam Jara. Same thing Pradhamna said. What else we experience temporary thing in this world apart from old age?
The happiness of society, friendship, and love.
Happiness, friendship, and love in the society is always changes. We break up, we reconnect with people, people betray. Happiness, we are happy today, tomorrow we are in distress. Same thing is explained in the scripture, nothing new. But when we are materially covered, then these things that are happening in the world and that are explained in the scripture, we do not see that thing due to the ignorance. So every single account we face in this world, in our life, are recorded in the scriptures by great sages that they personally experienced, they personally examined the nature of the both temporary and permanent, things. Vedam Vastavam Vastu Atra Sivadam. That's the Bhagavatam also says that the reality, we have to see the reality that happens in this world daily. And when our experience and our studying scripture matches, that gives us faith. Oh, what it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, I have personally faced in my experience in my life. So this scripture, when we study scripture, we need to relate. And then even in Srimad Bhagavatam, the first 9 cantos are not talking about love of God, transcendental. They are simply talking about this universe, all the life and the experiences and this and that, all these basic things in order to make our foundation strong. Is it correct or not?
Yes.
And second thing, after we study scriptures and analyze this material nature in our practical reality experiences, then we see the saintly people, sadhus. And there are sadhus in all tradition. And all the sadhus, they believe in God. The level of their belief may be different. If you are sadhu from India and a sadhu from America or a sadhu from Africa, they may have a different level of understanding of God, but all of them have some kind of belief and understanding in God. And they have been following this path of bhakti, path of this tradition for thousands of years, has been coming down from ages. And this sadhus has gone through so many difficulties just for accepting the path of Dharma. Have you seen in Christian culture, so many people were killed and tortured millions of people were tortured. And then the kind of torture, if you all know because you are growing up in Christian culture, those tortures were never in the history, like such a severe torture. They used to
Feed people to lions.
huh
Feeding people to lions was very common.
line, and then they're putting a hot iron chair and make them sit there, and they're spearing the body with the whatnot. Give up religion, give up Christian Christ, you will be released. But they sacrificed their life because they had the conviction, they have the strong faith in their heart that we are ready to sacrifice our life for the pleasure of God, because God does exist. In our culture, we can name so many personalities: Haridas Thakur, Prahlad Maharaj, Durga Maharaj. In some case, the Lord protect them. Some case, the Lord let them suffer, just to prove that God does exist. God knowingly sacrificed his devotees, go through so many pain to establish that many upcoming generation might attain, receive, acquire faith from those incidents in their life. And internally the Lord will take their pain. That is different thing. But Lord let his devotees suffer into this material world, and he protect and he let them suffer, just to establish that God exists, and that will enhance and nourish our faith. So when we struggle in any kind of when we practice Krishna consciousness and we struggle with our mind, sometimes maybe or not, my faith is getting startled. So we study the life of those devotees to regain the faith. The one of the secret to advance in spiritual life is to study the life of those great devotees who went through so many difficulties while following spiritual life. Like we can study Prahlad Maharaj life from Bhagavatam, we can study the Guru Maharaj, we can study Prabhupada biography. This is why it is very important to study Prabhupada biography for all devotees, so that we know that what struggle is. If we simply live in a comfort zone and just try to be devotee and do not understand anything, and simply I am enjoying, is very happy, very nice, yeah, we cannot last for a long time. At some point that situation will come and our faith is checked. So in order to be strong enough, so we have to gradually every day study and those life of those great devotees. So this strengthens our faith. This is second thing. Yeah, and the third one is miracle. Miracle happens in life of devotees, great people. Jamuna, you have any miracle happen in your life that you normally cannot believe, but it happened? Anything?
God has whatever I say happen.
Yeah. What else? Who has more experience with the miracle?
Miracle is that the biggest miracle in Krishna consciousness for me is that somehow or another, despite everything that we've done, despite all the challenges, Krishna still allows us to be happy. Like we can be happy in this world. We have that ability to actually have a good life and to be kind of more than we ever thought we could be when you're a devotee. You can tolerate all the pains and sufferings and still remain, a transformed person. So that to me is a bigger miracle than any type of.
Yeah.
There's so many things I can say where mystical things happen. Or we're still standing is pretty miraculous.
Like we have so many alternative not to become devotee. We have so many options in our life we could do. We have so many other ways that we could enjoy our life, but somehow we chose Krishna consciousness, and we compare our happiness that we are more happy here. Like Prabhupada was asked that Swamiji, like so many gurus come from India and they show some kind of miracle and it is so attractive. Could you do some miracle for us? Because you are a spiritual guru, you must have some mystic power. Could you please show to us? And Prabhupada uh, was very happily saying that what could be the miracle than these people who were hippie, drug addict, and all kind of people, they gave up everything and take up Krishna consciousness, and now they are getting very pure Vaishnavas, devotees, and taking up Krishna consciousness. Not only practicing on their life, but they are spreading all over the world, and they are worshipped all over the world as a pure devotees, great sannyasis, great Vaishnavas. What could be the biggest miracle than that? So that was Prabhupada's answer. And things happen. One day, it was Wednesday. I sing in the morning Mangalarti on Wednesday. I normally I wake up at 3. After 2:33, I wake up. I may not just right away get up and take shower and get ready, but I every day wake up at 2:30 and or 3. But then when you put your alarm, you say snooze for 5 minutes, and 5, another 5, another 5. After 5, it says dismiss. It will not continue snoozing in my phone. And then I think, let me just let me sing Mangalarti prayers before I go to temple. I might forget. Sometimes it slips in your mind. Sansara dava nalalira loka. And you read all the 8 verses, and then you fall asleep, and you think it is only 3:30, so I have to go to temple at 5 o'clock. So I have enough time. And I slept, and when I woke up, oh my God, it's 4:84. 4:48. Sorry, 4:48. Now I have a 2 plus 10, 12 minutes. 12 minutes. You need to go to the shower, take bath, dry your clothes, put dhoti and tilak, drive, and it was like night, but the car was like filled with frost. Somehow I was here like 1 minute before. Yeah, this kind of tiny little miracles always happen.
I had to be in my 4 once when I was supposed to leave my whole key.
Yeah.
Woke up, it was 4:18. I had to be by 4:30.
Yeah. And one thing in my life, every morning if I do not come, like today I do not come Mangalarti, Tuesday and Friday normally, and sometimes I miss Thursday. This morning I missed Thursday, but when I sleep and do not come, and I see the devotees, either they are chanting and dancing or they say something to me, and I always the dreams comes that I missed it. So this is tiny miracle, but in people's life there are so many big miracles happening. You have any instances, Prabhu, with miracle? Because you are close to the deity and doing all kind of abhishekam and everything. Any experience?
I feel like just being able to meet the devotees in itself was a miracle.
Is a miracle? Yeah.
So many arrangements were made
Yeah.
to the point where I couldn't escape
Yes.
becoming a devotee.
Yeah. So these things also keeps our faith very strong. And another last thing I want to mention that strengthen our faith, strong, is the sampradaya, the school of different thought that people follow. Because this knowledge is preserved and carried on down to the modern generation, all the way through disciplic succession, and it has been preserved. All its essence of the scriptures are preserved through sampradaya. And when we study the scriptures, there are some communities, some people, they follow exactly what is mentioned in the scriptures, and they are exactly following in the tradition. So that is also preserving. And when we are connected to one of those sampradayas and practice Krishna consciousness, that will deeply make our Krishna conscious foundation, the spiritual foundation, very strong. And there are 4 sampradayas. Any one of you know the meaning of sampradaya? It's a Sanskrit word. Sanskrit word has very deeper meaning. It is always combined with other different words. But when we break those words, and it reveal its full meaning. In order to understand the meaning of sampradaya, we have to first, let's break the word into 2. Come on in.
Hi.
Hare Krishna, how are you?
Okay, but
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry if I kind of interrupted. You didn't
No.
mean to.
No, you are fine. The sampradaya is made out of 2 words. One is sama, other is pradaya. Like, where do we use this word pradaya in like Krishna Bhakti Pradayini, right? Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Kesava Krishna Bhakti Pradaya, Vishnu Bhakti, Vishnu Bhakti Pradayate, something like that. So Pradayini means to give, to provide. What do we provide? What do this sampradaya provide? They provide the knowledge of God. And sama means providing that knowledge incomplete. So the sampradaya, the school of thought that provide the knowledge of God incomplete as mentioned in the scriptures is called sampradaya. Now, when people do not distribute this knowledge of the scripture as it is, and they concoct and speculate and distribute, that is called apa sampradaya. So when we are connected to one of that school of thought and learn the science of God, then we receive that knowledge very intact, without any deviation, without any alteration, without any adulteration. Pure knowledge that was originally spoke from the Supreme Lord. So when we have this 4 thing in our life, then the faith become founded strongly on the ground, and we can tolerate any kind of storm, wind, or crisis in our life. Anything happen, we've firmly fixed on Krishna consciousness, and we will never give up our practice. And then the real love of God arises from the heart. When we know that Supreme Lord more and more and try to establish a personal relationship with Him. When we talk about personality of Godhead, God is a person, and He has a personality, and He has likes and dislike, and He has His feeling, He has emotion. And when we are connected through the feeling, not with our thought, connecting with thought doesn't mean nothing. Like if a boyfriend and girlfriend, they are dating first time, okay, let me see Facebook, what is his profile, okay, this is okay. Now that doesn't mean anything. But when they meet personally together, they exchange gift, they know each other, and they have feeling for both, then they become more close, and they become really loving couple. And that we apply same science, same principle with God. Krishna is person. He has his desires, he has his likes, he has his dislikes, he has his emotion, he has a demand from us. In love, there's always demand that, you know. As a devotee, you should do this to me. You should act for my pleasure. This is Krishna's demand from us. He doesn't force us. And when we practice Krishna consciousness with this foundation, and every single thing becomes miracle, every single thing become ever fresh, and every single thing become very blissful, and we survive. We can attract many people into this blissful life. I would like to stop here. If anyone has any questions or discussion, we have some time. Do not hesitate to ask any question if you have. If I cannot answer, then we will consult the scriptures and we'll discuss. You have?
I'm going to say something just because you were thinking about, when people have a religious experience, a spiritual experience, nothing can take away that faith. That's Krishna says, pratyak. Pratyak sounds like on. But it's self-explanatory. It's actually.
That's what, that's what I was earlier mentioning. We have directly experienced things in our life. Prataksha in our life.
And since you mentioned the Christians, like all the persecution they face, it's like Jesus had 12 apostles, and there was 11 out of 12 of them were executed in horrendous ways. Most of them were crucified.
Yeah.
Some of them were burned alive. Some of them were. But each one had denied, had said they would not deny the miracle they saw in Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's like you have that experience of seeing the spiritual person and having a spiritual experience. Nothing can take that away from you. You would die before you even.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Anything else? Dear beautiful soul, you are all very wonderful people.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems, you're mentioning faith and that sometimes we have this challenge with our faith, like, how do we, sometimes it seems like, we're practicing Krishna consciousness and in the beginning we have a lot of bliss.
Bliss?
This is blissful,
Uh-huh.
very happy. We experience this big shift in our life and we do overcome all this stuff, but then we start to slow down and we start to feel like, I really need some, is this working? We start to question if this is working or not because I'm not feeling always so good. I feel like I'm going through in fact, sometimes I feel like I'm going back into Maya when I wasn't in Maya. Now I'm in Maya again, not in illusion again.
Is it okay if I eat from Vaishnava?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
the main reason for losing the faith or we're losing that blissful ground is somehow or other we are not connected to Krishna in a personal level. We maybe not following the principle in the right way. So in order to keep that momentum go for all time, we should always be around to those who are doing it in their life daily with their faith. So in other words, association, a good association will always keep us in good mood. We call in Govindas, good food, good mood. Govindas. So good devotees, good association, good blissful nature always, That is why we open temples. Temples are the source of our faith. If the temples are not here, no matter how learned you are, you practice on your own, I don't think we can continue like more than 1 month, 2 months, or 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. At some point we lose and we fall, and then. So it is very important that to understand that we have this temple here, so that we all can come together and then keep our Krishna consciousness alive. But there are many other reasons that happens. Sometimes when we commit some crime or offense to devotees, we see some fault in some devotees, and unnecessarily we magnify that little tiny mistake and try to criticize, and the Krishna will take our interest away from us. So there are many reasons that can happen, but Krishna doesn't see how many times we fall, but Krishna sees how many times we rise for him. So do not be distressed, or don't feel bad that we fall from, but we see that how many times I can rise, and Krishna will empower that thing.
I just think life itself is a miracle. I mean, being here, we could easily have not been here.
Yeah.
We could easily been, such a hellish planet. And sometimes I think Earth is kind of a hellish planet.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean,
No.
I feel like life itself is pretty miraculous.
Mhm.
I wrote a question.
I mean, I understand why people want to leave this planet. I've worked in social work for over 20 years. I've seen it all. It's just
Mhm.
the majority of suffering comes from other human beings, in my opinion. Maltreatment of others from others,
Mhm.
which seems to just keep cycling over and over.
Yeah.
No amount of government program is going to stop
Pretty-
that. Because people are detached from God, people are disconnected. That's the cause of the suffering.
Mhm.
Which is if you are connected.
Yeah.
You cannot harm another being.
Mhm.
You cannot harm another living being.
Yeah.
Period.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Isn't there a quote from Einstein that says, we can decide if everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle? Along those lines.
I wrote that. Oh, I still wrote that quote.
It has to be.
Prabhu. So sometimes it's like you get people always, if you're a devotee, brahmachari devotee, you're preaching, going doing things, Krishna's empowering you, but then you start I feel like sometimes I can't connect with people anymore because people see more, it's like, oh, Prabhu, they only see you as this, they glorify you, but you don't realize, they forget, like, you're like a normal person, you have all these anarthas, all these challenges, lust, anger, greed, envy, avarice, illusion.
Mhm.
It's all there just like any other person, just like a regular devotee.
Mhm.
And so people, sometimes we start feeling like, oh, I need to just be like, play the character. I feel like we're really weak though.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm really weak in Krishna consciousness, but then it's like I'm forced to kind of be one way because of, pressure. And then it can make us lose faith too, because we have more faith in our own, the ego trip and the devotees of Krishna.
Yeah, what's that saying? Lose faith in humanity and that'll cease your suffering.
Yeah.
Have faith in God. Faith in God.
I'm more faith in devotees.
Everyone's gonna disappoint you.
Yeah. That's why when we study the great song written by great Vaishnava Acharyas, all the songs are praying to the Lord, that begging mercy from the Lord. Most of the Vaishnava songs, you see, they are begging mercy from the Lord. So when we repeat such prayers in our mind, my dear Lord, hopefully one day I will be blessed with the knowledge. I may understand the science of God. I might see the presence of you in all living beings. All this, when we hear these, repeat these songs, that gives us great hope in our life. And that along with the hope will also make our faith strong. And there may be very challenging time. It comes. It definitely come for everybody. But if we remain prayerful and remain surrendered and do not give up the good association, then all these things will help us to rise from that such a doubtful situation. And we need to introspect ourselves every day. How much Krishna conscious I am. How much unfaithful I am. I may have some faith, but also let's see and analyze how much faith I don't have in God, in Krishna consciousness. Everyone has a little bit faith, but how much I don't have, and then let's work on that field and improve myself. Desire. Yes.
I come from a Catholic background.
Mm-hmm.
What different?
Catholic.
Oh,
I know that was also.
So, even the oneness of God, I'd like to know how do you think that the followers of Krishna are different from the Christians? Because my personal experience has been more of a cultural one. I did yoga, I studied a little bit, I read some basic texts, but obviously it's, in a way, I feel very close. In another way, it seems that my style of life is so different, especially now. And I haven't realized much of what. So I do not know how to tune in, with what I did before. I feel like as if I had slipped out of it.
Can you explain a little bit? Okay.
Christianity for me is something
Yeah.
that I grew up with. So it's almost, even though it's very effective,
Mm-hmm.
faith, but it's something I cannot detach from.
Right.
Even though it's not, I don't live in Italy anymore, it's not part of my everyday,
What is your name?
Isabella.
Nice to meet you. I also grew up in the Catholic Church.
Oh.
So now I've been a monk here. I'm a Hare Krishna monk now. But I think it's natural to not forget our original, the religion we're born into, because we're born into the religion by our karma. And so if one follows the Catholic faith nicely, one makes spiritual advancement, because many Catholic people have a lot of love for God. And so I don't really see much difference in my practicing Krishna consciousness and my Catholicism. In fact, I still go to Catholic Church quite regularly, not always to Mass, I just go and sometimes I pray there. But I don't see very much difference, because the only difference is that it's a different type of culture and it's a different level. One Krishna consciousness is something that goes a little more personal. You see, whereas the Catholic Church focuses mainly on Jesus, the Son of God. The Son of God is a teacher of Bhakti Yoga. He was teaching, he said, what are the most important commandments? He said, love God and love thy neighbor. So the Krishna conscious movement focuses more on the Father. What is the source of all things? What is that being like? And so the process of Krishna consciousness involves many similar practices to Catholic Church. But I think what I found, and for me, why I don't, immerse myself in the Catholic way now, is because I find that many of the followers, at least in this country, I'm here in Italy, it's actually much different.
It used to be.
But at least in this country, it's more of just kind of a ritualistic thing. You don't find very many deep spiritual people when you go to the church. It's more kind of a fear-based. And so what I find is that, serious Catholic people, my grandma's been praying the rosary every day since she was, 4 years old. And now
Your mother?
my grandma.
Grandma,
Now she's 84.
well, my grandmother too.
She's been praying the rosary for 80 years every day.
But she passed a long time.
And so we find that, the devotees, we always chant Hare Krishna. It's our prayer on beads.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Yes, yeah, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
But
Hare.
sometimes I see that when I'm driving, how.
Yeah.
someone is traffic or
The same concept, praying to God, like they pray the rosary.
Yeah.
Actually, the rosary has 54 beads. Our malas have 108 beads.
Double.
Yeah.
Double.
I
So,
never did the rosary.
so then, like, well, also with similar practices, this food we eat, the Catholic people, they have this ritual, right? They say, this bread has become the body of the new and everlasting covenant.
That's the something
Ring a,
strange in a way.
ring a bell, and they say prayers. And so all the food devotees eat is taken to the altar, offered to the altar. We ring a bell, we say prayers, and we believe that this food has now become Krishna, the same spiritual substance as Krishna.
You mean
Except everything we take
Prashadam.
in that way.
even in the Indian
Absolutely.
Krishna religion?
Same thing, every
Yeah.
single day.
Share the
Every single,
sacred meal?
yes, even what you're eating right now
I
is,
didn't know. I thought that you were talking about Christian.
no, we do also. We do the same thing. We ring a bell,
Yeah,
place food on the altar, say prayers, and we believe that this food is called prasad. Prasad means the mercy of God.
Yes.
Prasad is actually food, but it's spiritually non-different from Krishna. And therefore we honor it, it's honoring prasad.
It's more metaphysical because actually within the Christian faith,
Body, blood, and divinity
and
of
you
Jesus
do
Christ.
in a way Christian of Christ is supposed to happen for you.
The same
I
as
don't
this.
think that they talk about it so theologically anymore.
No, it's the same concept.
It
Because it's the
it was
same.
a kind of disturbing in a way when you were a little kid, you don't really think about it. To me, it was unsettling.
Yeah.
Unsettling.
No, we say it the same. We say it's exactly the same because this is the Krishna's body, but it's not. Krishna's body is not like our body. Krishna's body is spiritual because everything is Krishna, right? Everything is God's energy, and so everything is essentially God. So when you take this food, that is also considered Krishna's personal body, and that it spiritualizes us, it uplifts our consciousness. And since we run this restaurant, which is all the food we serve at this restaurant is blessed on the altar. Therefore, we see that this restaurant actually changes people's lives. Anybody who works here regularly for many years, we see people come, they start eating here, and their whole life shift because this food is that uplifting. It's blessed. So there's so many similar practices. And so I didn't find very much difference between the Catholic Church and the Krishna consciousness, but what I did find was that the followers of Krishna consciousness tend to be very serious about their spiritual lives. And also, they tend to have a deeper focus on a personal relationship with God, rather than in the Catholic Church, it's still somewhat impersonal because God doesn't have a form, God doesn't have a name. These things aren't very present.
It is because it's so historical, and in a way, people are divorced in everyday life from the church. Whereas I think that in this Indian, religion, people live in a more not naive, really, but it's part, the music, the participation. It's also based on sensory experience, not in a bad way, superficial,
Yeah, absolutely.
but it's, what
Yeah, we want to engage all the senses in God's service.
it's as if with Christian religion, everything is Christianized in the past, even the art.
Yeah.
It's the one of the it's not something that, it's people know, for the most part, Christians live in a considerate way,
Yeah.
more balanced so than
Yeah.
people who are not Christian.
When-
But there are so many tensions within the Christian family.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
due to the religion, because there is something that is unresolved.
It has everything to do with people not having the full message that Jesus taught. For instance, we very much put forward, and our spiritual teacher Prabhu put this forward, like vegetarianism helps elevate the consciousness.
Not completely.
But as we grow, as we grow in spiritual life, we stop eating the lower vibrational things. Fish is a higher level than like cows and things like that. So even in the Catholic Church, we say, they say don't eat on Friday. We don't eat meat on Friday. Why do we do this? The fast exists so that someone can come to a level where they don't eat meat ever. So in that way, when one doesn't eat meat, when one lives a certain lifestyle, like that helps us connect deeper to religion. And so I find that, there are many Catholic saints that I study regularly, like St. Francis, Padre Pio, St. Faustina, very nice.
Padre Pio, I don't understand. St. Francis, yes, and also the Benedictine.
St. Benedict?
Yeah.
I love St.
Pray
Benedict.
and works.
I would like to conclude with a little point here, that when we do not establish very personal relationship with God, but we know about God, we study in the scriptures, we follow something, but we do not develop personal relationship, then we are divorced from God. In one way, living beings are divorced from God. And when we are disconnected from God, and any relationship here in this world, no matter how much we try, we break, we divorce. So the principle is, if we are connected with the God with a feeling, thinking in our mind, and then know Him more and understand what He likes and what He wants from us, that will really bind and bring so close to God. And once we become attached to the Lord with that personal level, and our relationship also flows in the same direction. We understand each other. We do not abuse one another for our sensory pleasure. We see more meaning than just enjoying senses in the relationship. So that once we are established in Krishna consciousness, that will naturally give durable relationship in our life. So, once you are connected to the powerhouse, then we can use this speaker, we can use this microphone. So many things are naturally connected and helping. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We would like to end our discussion here today.